Greetings my lovelies, and thank you for stopping by the circle today. This week's review is one that, again, is a very dear childhood favorite of mine, but I'm extra fucking excited because it's getting a revival in the graphic novel. So to commemorate that, I want to talk about Animorphs, partially the series, but most importantly the first book, The Invasion, by K.A. Applegate. So Animorphs were a science fiction series that came out, God, roughly in the late 90s, early 2000s, I want to say. And if anyone knows the exact date, please let me know. I'm not going to bother looking it up. It revolves around a group of 5 kids, all racially diverse for the most part, and actually really complex now that I think about it. And an alien invasion and a bunch of fun things. I think there's like 27 books in the series. Or 54. I'll have to pop that number up somewhere when I actually double check because I don't know how. Okay, to be truthful, I don't always script my videos, I just have notes. So when I speak, sometimes it's straight for the notes, sometimes it's just things that pop out of my mouth. It also had a brief run as a TV series with an interesting cast of characters, although I don't think they finished it. I think it was only 1 season. And they really condensed it down. I don't know whatever happened to it, I just remember that it was not that good. Or, it was okay, but I had too much love for the series to ever fully enjoy it as a TV show. It happens sometimes, unfortunately. It's the risk that everyone takes when you adapt a book or to a book series to a TV or movie. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and talk about the premise, some of the rules of this world, and then roll right into the characters. Again, I don't think I can really talk about this as much without giving away some spoilers here and there. So if you haven't read it and you don't want to be spoiled, pause this video, go read at least like the first couple of them so you have a generalized idea. They all kind of follow a similar pattern, and then come back and let me know what you think. Basically, in a nutshell, Animorph is 5 kids who are granted the ability to shapeshift into animals by a blue alien centaur who eats with his feet. Dun da da! Try pitching that these days. Earth is being invaded by a set of mind-controlling slugs called Yerks. We don't find out until very much later on with like these last like 4 huge fucking books, kind of like how everything got started. But basically the 2 main aliens that kind of battling each other are the Andalites, which are these blue centaur creatures that eat with their feet, and these mind-controlling slugs that have to leave their host body every 3 days to soak up their nutrients from their primordial ooze pools. But there's a lot of other cool aliens as well. So when these kids touch the animal, they can absorb its DNA and they can turn into it. Not only can they turn into it, but they do sort of take on some of the traits of the animals. So if you're a lizard and you see a roach, that roach is going to start to look yummy to you. But that can be kind of gross in certain situations when you like regain your human consciousness. But also when you're in animal form, you can telepathically communicate to your friends. The downside to this ability is that you have to turn back to your original form in 2 hours, or you are stuck in that form forever. And that's pretty much the series in a nutshell. These kids go on adventures trying to fight these aliens without getting caught and live their normal lives, and they just keep it. I can't even begin to explain it. Every book featured one of the kids as like their main protagonist. They used to have like these little animal flip books at the bottom of it where you flipped it one way and they transformed in the creature, and you flipped it the other way and they went back to human. They're not very big. They seemed a lot larger when I was a kid, but then again I was a kid, but now I think they're only like maybe 100 or so pages. But it's an awesome series. Please don't take my word for it. I do feel like I'm doing it an injustice, but there's so much in it that I can't even begin to describe it. So let me go ahead and just jump right into the characters because I can ramble on forever. So the 5 kids who gain the ability to turn into animals are Jake, who ends up being like the leader. His brother Tom is one of the yurt-controlled people. At first we think he did it willingly, but then we find out later that he isn't, and he's like, yes. We have Rachel, who is Jake's cousin. She's tall, blonde, athletic, but she's not like a girly girl. She's kind of like a tomboy. She kind of has a crush on Tobias, who is this poor kid. He's sort of down on his luck, and he spends most of the series as a hawk because unfortunately in the first book he gets stopped. We have Marco, who is Jake's best friend and serves as a comic relief. His family situation is kind of rocky because his mom died, and he spends a lot of the series kind of bouncing back and forth of whether or not he wants to do it or not, because he doesn't want to cause his dad any more pain and suffering, because his dad really kind of took a dive when the mom died, but there's not much he can really do, because if he doesn't fight, then his dad's going to end up a slave. And then we have Cassie, who is the vet. Well, her parents are vets. She's the most gifted in shifting. When she does it, it actually looks good, not freaky, because for the rest of them, it's like, you know, some H.P. Lovecraft mess, but for her, it's like, oh, that's pretty. You made yourself look like an angel. We do in the later series have a couple other characters, but I don't want to talk about them just yet, because I might be able to do this entire series kind of as it comes out. Like I said, it is getting redone as a graphic novel, which is why I'm rebuying them and rereading them again, because nostalgia. And thank you so much, Chris, for letting me know that it was becoming a comic. I just bought book 2, so excited. Anyways, on to the big bads. So our main big bag is called Vizier 3, and he's the only Yeerk to ever possess an Andalite body. All of the rest of them sort of fill in either humans, or these slug things, or these razor creatures that are actually docile. They just live in like a wooded forest area, so like all the razors help them climb and chop wood and whatnot. And then we have the primary, who is the kid's vice principal. Now, he is one of the few people that is a volunteer, although we do find his reason out for volunteering later, so don't fill him with all the hate mail just yet. However, he is sort of like the main antagonist for the kids, because one of the entrances to like the Yurt secret lairs is under the schools, and the kids kind of fuck it up on the regular. They're constantly trying to mess with these places. They try to destroy these pools, disrupt like building of things, because if the Yurts can't feed every 3 days in that primordial soup of theirs, they die. Through the course of things, they do realize that they possibly may be children, and so they have to like play this cat and mouse game with their assistant principal. It's all very entertaining. Those are kind of the main characters, at least just with the first book, so let me go ahead and give you my final thoughts. I can't talk about my final thoughts of this singular book, because it is an initial book and I have problems and issues with initial books. They're fine. I'm not a fan of them because it's a lot of setup and world building, but in this one it's very engaging. And I loved the characters. They feel like real kids. Middle school kids. They talk like middle school kids. They have the same worries as middle school kids. The relationship among the siblings and the cousins and just the overall friend groups are great. God, these are some really good written characters. The stakes are always high in every single book, and you really do feel for them. And the one thing I do like, especially with this book, that's kind of maybe different for other ones of the time period, is that they don't jump right into wanting to be like these superheroes. They're like, we're kids. Like, that's their initial reaction. We're kids, man. We can't fight wars. We're kids. I have a math test tomorrow. Like, they are very realistic in that like refusal of the call of duty. And it's not like some selfish, you know, for reasons. It's just like literally like they're children, and you don't think children are gung-ho to fight an alien invasion. They actually have spent a good amount of time wondering whether or not they're actually going to do it, or should they go to the police and show them. But then, like, of course, things happen and they end up accepting the charge by the end of the book. Again, love the series, obsessed with the series. I'm so happy it's coming back, and I love it as a graphic novel because honestly, with all the shape shifting, It's really made for it. It's honestly made for it. Well, that is all that I have for you guys today. If you ever read the Animorphs or anything of the similar nature science fiction wise, let me know, drop a comment. I typically read like a lot of fantasy. Occasionally I will have science fiction. It's not my forte, it's not like my you know, cookies and cream or whatever, but sometimes I find some really good gems in there. And what are your feelings about an older series being adapted into a graphic novel for a newer generation? Do you think it's just a cash grab by the author, or do you think it's a fresh and new way to present an amazing story to the next generation? I'm actually really interested in that question. But if you have any book, manga, comic, whatever that you would like for me to review, go ahead and drop a comment down below, and on your way out, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I post videos roughly every week, mostly on Wednesdays, but anytime really generalized throughout the week because life's crazy sometimes and I just don't make the deadline. And if you want to see what else I'm doing around the world and the interweb, just go ahead and follow my social media links. All of them, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So that is all that I have for you. I do hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you all next time. Bye! And before you leave, don't forget to mark your calendars for January 18th, 2022 for the next book in A Tale of Blade and Darkness series, The Hidden Temple. See you then, my lovelies.